Hello again, this is the fourth video, and guess what? It's time to talk about leadership, or better said, how to lead and how to let yourself be led. Can we do that? Are we actually aware of what does it mean? Well, let's see. First of all, I think we all might want in a moment of our lives to be recognized by the people around us as possible leaders. But are we actually capable of doing it? And as much as it seems it has to do only with leading, as in ruling, just a few people understand that the concept of leadership is also complementary with being led. A true leader has many traits that attract people into following him. And one of them is that he knows to listen to people, trying to meet their interests and needs, which means, at the bottom line, he lets himself led once in a while by the people around him. So, leading and being led are two positions we should all experiment with because they are part of what we are. As we have positive and negative features, the yin and yang, the light and the shadow surrounding us, we have an innate desire to lead or to be led. Of course, just as some focus on their flaws, the same happens with leading and being led. Some tend to lead more than letting themselves to be led, and vice versa. We need to find a balance between the two, and theater can help us in this direction. In order to understand the concept of leading and being led, you start by exploring what conflict means. Because leading and being led is about finding a balance between the two. Conflict arises when it exists in the individual or in the relationship with another person, two positions of power. It is solved when people really listen and try to find a solution that benefits both parties involved by communicating and finding a balance between leading and being led. Communication implies, amongst others, that each party involved sets as an objective to influence the other. Each participant might act from a position of power. Inevitably, therefore, in certain situations, a conflict might arise, precisely because the parties involved are resisting what the other wants, trying to, at all costs, to impose their truth and their part of the truth. Communication involves accepting conflicts and assuming conflict resolution. So, when we talk about conflict, we might as well think about a nice exercise that, besides the exercises that Professor Bogdana Darie wrote in the resources that you have on the platform, it's a good exercise to understand how conflict actually means or actually can be solved while trying to find a balance between leading and being led. So imagine that my hands are two different people, two persons facing one another. And at some point, we are just putting our hands in front of us and leaning on our hands. So, if, for example, I ask one of them to just push the other, there you have a conflict. Because one is pushing towards the other and the other is just letting himself to be led. But when we talk about conflict resolution and about finding the balance between leading and being led, is when the one that is pushed pushes back, and the one that pushed first is just letting himself be led. And it becomes like a dance, let's say, between the two. One that pushes and the other one responds, but you never know who is the one that leads and who is the one that is letting himself be led. This is what you can find while observing, for example, theater performances, when the conflict is very strong. People that just want and stick with their truth and are not able and do not want to accept the truth of the other. So, as theater is a mirror of the life, we can easily just watch some performances, understand the conflicts, and find pieces of conflicts that we might have in our lives as well, and try to find a solution, try to find the balance between leading and being led, about imposing my truth over the other one, or giving in sometimes, just for the sake of collaborating. Teamwork, the first lesson that we had. Thank you very much, and see you in the Zoom session and at the next video. Bye!